Major Mohammad Ali Shah, who has been with me live on the telecast and has always spoken about how this means ahead of the future of Middle East and the relations of US and Israel as well. Mr. Shah, how do you think, as Mr. Peer has also said, that till the time Iran does not stop, there has to be a mechanism in place, or there has to be more pressure in a way that it does come into being the way it has been stated in a post where it has been made official. So, Mr. Shah, why do you think that such a statement officially at the time when it was not anticipated was made by United States Donald Trump, when it was already expected that it will be the focus on Iran to finally put a full stop on the series of the continued attacks and missiles on Israel?
Right, Simran, that's a very, very interesting and a very, very, very intriguing question, in fact. I learned a lot hearing my senior Brigadier Sanjeev Khanna give his analysis. I think he was so right, bang on. And adding that further on, since it's a very, very serious subject, I would like to add a bit of humor in this since President Donald Trump is involved over here. Early morning, when I got a WhatsApp message saying that President Donald Trump has tweeted this, my first reaction to that was I sent a smiley writing LOL, LOL, because I thought it's a joke. I actually, generally, I'm not being humorous over here. I genuinely thought it's a joke. And then I got a series of other messages that President Donald Trump has actually claiming to have broken the ceasefire. And oh my God, not again. I mean, he did exactly the same thing during Operation Sindoor, where he had no right to come and do that. But anyhow, which was later on denied by our foreign ministry as well, that he's claiming Israel had given no confirmation, and President Donald Trump gave a confirmation that it'll be in phases. 12 hours, for the initial 12 hours, Iran agreed to not fire upon Israel, and then after 12 hours, Israel will observe, then Israel will take a call, and so on and so forth. I think he is stepping beyond he's stepping his brief, in fact. It is not required at all. And in fact, it's not just immature, it's unethical. It's unethical for a person of the stature of the president, the number one man of the superpower of the world. It's actually uncalled for. Now, President Donald Trump, he claimed on Monday night that Iran and Israel, they reached out to him almost simultaneously about peace between the two regions. Now, the Israeli military had said it had identified missiles launched towards the nation from Iran. Now, President Trump, just a few hours back, he had announced a ceasefire deal in which on the post on Truth Social, he mentioned Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace! I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. Now, this is what he had tweeted. He went on further on to tweet, they have so much to gain and yet so much to lose. It is stray from the road of rightness and truth. The future of Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both. President Trump had tweeted exactly this. And now there were other news agencies which had reported that Trump and a group of his top diplomatic and security officials, they had worked furiously behind the scenes to try to broker a peace deal to end the conflict between Israel and Iran. Now, this was after Iran had launched a missile attack on US base in Qatar. And where US says that there has been no damage over there. In fact, President Trump, he thanked Iran for initially intimating them that they're going to be doing this attack. Now, the moment before Trump had put that post, the Israeli military said it had identified missiles launched towards Israel from Iran and said its defensive system were activated. So they had activated all the air defense system and everywhere. Now, the Iranian state media, they had announced that I think this was this morning only, in fact, they had announced that a ceasefire has been imposed on the enemy after the country's military response to US aggression. Now, interestingly, and I would say sadly as well, Just when President Trump had announced this on Twitter, we saw last time Operation Sindoor. A couple of hours later, Pakistan resorted to firing. Similarly, there were explosions heard. Now there were reports that they were coming in that to suggest that a surface-to-air missile that was launched and a radar site were targeted. And now there was a burning of Camp Taji, that's to the north of Iraqi capital of Baghdad. Now that's on X. This was actually while it was trending that this is what has happened in Iraq a few hours after the ceasefire has been so-called. Ceasefire has been announced by President Donald Trump. Now, is he trying to humor the world? Is he trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize? What's he trying? And as Brigadier Khanna rightly said, Donald Trump, what kind of a man is he? It is actually ridiculous.
Absolutely,
Now,
in fact. What we are also learning by your statements, Major Mohammad Ali Shah, is that it is a bit bizarre as the world woke up to this big news.